Hello, and welcome back to Damn Fine Discussions. I am Matt, your co-host, along with your boy Rabid Beaver, your other co-host. And we're here to talk about all things Swiggo, Star Wars, and whatever the heck we decided we wanted to talk about. All of the
Fair.
above. Beaver, how's your week going?
I just got off a stream where I was dying of hot sauce, so I don't know. It's also a holiday week, so it's gonna be a rough week. But hey, we got some cool stuff going on, and I'm actually really excited for the whole weekend. So
We have cool stuff not Swiggo related.
yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of it is not Swiggo related, but we'll get to all that stuff towards the end. First, we got to talk about the good old Swigga, or however people want to pronounce it.
Do you say Swigga?
No, I call it Swiggo,
Oh, okay.
but like Swigga is one that I hear a lot, and I'm just like, nope, don't like it.
That gives me the ick. But yes, Swiggo news. We had a little bit happen the last 2 weeks. We can start off with some more positive things that have happened.
Yeah, we got to do the best and the worst of CG. So, what's something good? Give me anything. Anything good.
I'm gonna start with something that is just, I think, just all around good, and that's the Tarkin rework. I think the Tarkin rework is fun.
I have been like that was one of my favorite videos to make, was just because I was streaming and I just tested it out. I was like, oh my gosh, I just wiped a team in one hit.
Yeah.
This is wild.
And
so
I don't even think we've fully discovered how we're gonna use it.
oh
Like,
yeah, no.
I don't know that he even needs clones to really do anything. Like,
To be
3v3
fair, I took them in against I don't remember what team it was, but I took them in against a team. I think it might have been a Darth Revan team.
Mhm.
In
Was it in Squad Arena or was
Squad
it in...
Arena. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I took him against him in Squad Arena, and I just first turned AoE'd, and it killed 2 people, and everyone else was at half health. And I was like, if I had clones in here, he hits that damage twice. So
Yeah.
if you mod him for full potency, I think he could one-tap a team with the clones. But
I have a suspicion, and I'll put this prediction out there, that after the Apocron goes away, that it's going to be more beneficial to run Lord Vader with Maul and his current team, and then to put Tarkin with the clones, because you'll be able to kill GLs inside of GAC, I think.
I think there's a strong possibility. Like they're already shown to. I haven't done it myself, but they were shown in the initial testing with Scorch, with the data mined stuff, that they could take down JMK. Like, yeah, I think
Like, how much more do you want out of a non-GL team?
Yeah.
Like, I think
So-
Apocron is just going to make the Lord Vader team a little bit too strong, that like you're not going to want to give that up, because it'll be top of meta. But I think as soon as Apocron goes away, I think you're going to see a lot of people start to shift Lord Vader back to his old team and run Tarkin with clones, or maybe even splitting Tarkin and running like a Tarkin 3-man with like Tarkin Scorch, Disguised Clone Trooper, and then putting like Oppo CX, Royal Guard, Maul, or something with Lord Vader. I just that team is too strong, I think, to just not have.
We'll talk a bit about we'll talk a bit about it a little bit later. There's a lot of bit abouts in there, but we'll talk a little bit later about some of the team comps and stuff. But even without clones, he's disgusting, and I'm loving him.
Yeah, if I had Omicrons to spare, I would be applying his, but unfortunately, I'm on a budget at the moment as far as Omicrons go.
Speaking of the clones, we do have to take the good with the bad. The Lord Vader and the clones were clearly not tested beforehand, and the things that they promised of Mon Mothma and Bo-Katan not working is still worked.
Well, okay, so we have the adjustment now, but
yes, yeah.
Like, how are you not testing these things?
Yeah.
And I know that I probably sound like a broken record because I've talked about this on stream a ton, but it's just like the fact that the most common counter for Lord Vader is not Fennec. The most common counter for Lord Vader has been Bo-Katan Mandalore. So the fact that battle doesn't go as expected did you play it?
Yeah, like, dude, did you just take like a mod list of both teams and was just like, yeah, let's just see how it goes? Like, what happened here? Because like, yeah, it's wild to see. I will say the new changes to it, I feel like are really good changes. It makes it so you can hit Order 66 much faster on the team against non-GLs, of course. Completely shuts down Mon Mothma. Remains to be seen with Bo-Katan. It seems like there's a chance.
It's going to be less consistent, at least.
Yeah, but like it's making me think about Relic 9ing my Mommy Mandalore. So, because like if I can still beat it with Mommy Mandalore, then what's the point of not Relic 9ing her? Like,
yeah.
So we'll kind of see what happens, but the good with the bad, they definitely didn't test it. It's now fixed, we think. We'll find out more after basically tomorrow. So like, as of this coming out, you're going to be seeing, like Arnold trying it out and stuff like that with Bo-Katan. So we'll see how it goes. I didn't face a full one. I faced one without Scorch today with Bo-Katan, and I got everyone out besides Lord Vader and Apo. And
with Apocron or no?
Yeah, it was with Apocron.
Okay.
And so I was like, yeah, I can just clean this up with Mon Mothma at this point. I don't know, like that's rough, but it's still like a doable. And I was like, if I had a little bit better modding, because my Mommy Mandalore is not well modded. Like we're talking about like people come to me and they're like, is 300 speed enough on IG-11 and Grogu? And I'm like looking at my 250 speed one. I'm like, yes.
Yes. Yeah, and it may just be that you have to be more intentional about having good mods on Bo-Katan Mandalore, because as of right now, she's been more of just like a delete button for Lord Vader's team.
Lord Vader, JMK, yeah, like the things that she doesn't necessarily need the most amazing mods to do it. So maybe now you just need to be intentional with your modding and you'll still be able to do it. So
yeah, and I'm assuming you have all Zetas and Omicrons on that team.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then also, I have a sneaking suspicion Mandalorians are getting a Datacron set in the next one. Maybe call me speculative Andy, but
they've been doing way too many Datacrons about Lightspeed bundles to not do one. I'm gonna call a focus Datacron actually.
Ooh,
I wouldn't be surprised for like a Maul focused Datacron. Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's the way they keep Maul off of Lord Vader's team for longer.
Yeah. The Apocron goes away and then they drop a Maul focused Datacron.
But it works with Mandalorians. So you're like, well, I need Maul with my Mandalorians. So
yeah, as long as Maul is with Mandalorians is like the stipulation.
Yeah, I could just totally see them doing that.
Oh,
and then a Dark Cyclone one comes back after, and it's just this endless cycle of Datacrons.
Just trying to keep them together. That's kind of how like Quadme felt when she first started out. She was given so many Datacrons, and so everyone's like, this is the top of the meta, this is the best thing since sliced toast. Don't get me wrong, she's great, she is, but like everyone was convinced that she was like the apex predator, and it was just like, no, she's still beaten by gas. It's just you can't beat her with gas because every Datacron cell's been built around her for a year straight.
And even I don't know, even with gas, it's not super consistent. I've dropped those battles before. With gas, and a lot of times it depends on the other two they put with them. I feel like Bad Batch Echo a lot of times shuts down my gas from working.
Yeah, Bad Batch Echo. If you do, surprisingly enough, Kiadi Mundi and Mace Windu is a really gross combo, and can even shut out like Bane because you start reducing max health and stuff.
Oh, I ran into Kelleran Beck Jedi Knight Anakin today, and I was confused as to what the idea was there.
The idea was to ruin at least 2 teams in one go.
Yeah, pretty much. But speaking of somewhat positive, the goods and the bads, right? We got the Lord Vader Lightspeed bundle, which I think was actually a really solid value.
It hurt a little bit that it was not a single one of the Kyrotech characters. But
yeah, but all those characters had come in previous bundles.
Yeah, so like for the most part, I was happy with it. It was just $50 was a lot for me. It's Relic 7, so like great. $50 felt a little expensive for me, but I still loved the bundle, and I bought it, not of my own volition. Someone donated for me to buy it. I had one character left. I needed 2 more days and I would have had Lord Vader in my account, but someone was like, I want it now. And so I was like, okay, I guess I'll start the Lord Vader thing right now. And so I did it right there on stream and then brought him up to Relic 9 on stream because he just kept donating to bring him up.
I had crystals saved to take my profundity to 7 stars. I'm no longer taking profundity to 7 stars this month, but I have Lord Vader now. Funny how that works. So I got the bundle and then got my relegates done pretty much immediately. But I think I know like we want more warning about the Lightspeed bundles, but I liked this time them like putting it into the data mine the same day they were releasing it. Like if they're not gonna give us the advance notice like a lot further ahead, I kind of like the idea of just like, surprise, here it is, because every time it's dropped in the Swiggo events data mine, I have to find it in there, make sure I know what dates it's available, when it's leaving, make sure that I like have the budget for it and all that. And like,
yeah, it kind of like the way that they put it, like the way that it comes out in the data mines is really unclear. It takes a while to get figured out, like when it's coming out and all that kind. So I did kind of like it dropping, and I thought it was a fun little thing where it dropped and all of a sudden it's in game, and I'm just like, whoa. Okay, yeah. And so I thought that was fun to see. But like on that other side,
yep,
the Bad Batch Lightspeed bundle got brought back for 24 hours.
Wait, with Bad Batch bundle got brought back?
Exactly. Like with no dev post, it was literally Meathead posted a hear ye message in the Swiggo event server and said, let everyone know. Not a single other content creator made a video about it. And I literally was like, oh, I gotta go check if Arnold made a video or if it's worth me making a video, because if Arnold makes a video, I'm not gonna get any views and everyone's gonna know about it anyways. I check Arnold, nothing. Check Nooch, nothing. Scribe, nothing. I'm like, oh no one knows about this.
Arnold was on the vacation Imperial Star Destroyer.
Yeah. So like I got comments on that video that was like, I am so glad I saw this video. I only had 8 hours left before it was gone. I'm like, dude, this is
I'm sure there's people that missed it. Like I guarantee there are. That's where we get to of like what I would prefer they do with Lightspeed bundles. Like it was fun to have the one just drop right like out of nowhere, but I think the preferable thing is, could we get an advanced schedule on when they're coming out? And especially returning ones, at least. Like new ones, sure, drop them on us. You use your FOMO to make sure people are missing out on them, and then they feel bad and
do you think
other things or whatever. But
do you think the reason that they don't give us a schedule is so that way they can do SLKR 2.0 bundles?
No, I think the reason that they don't give us a schedule is because if you're like halfway to a character and you know a bundle is coming this month, you're not going to spend to start working on it. But if you don't know that it's coming, you might spend some to work on it and then still pick up the bundle anyways or something. It's like the same thing of like a bunch of people trying to schedule their farms around Lightspeed bundles, and I'm guilty of this too.
Yeah,
I do the same thing, and
I do not.
There's certain characters I'm not gonna farm. Like I'm not gonna farm Jedi Knight Cal Kestis. Jedi Knight Cal Kestis will get a Lightspeed bundle the next year, and that is when I will get Jedi Knight Cal Kestis.
How dare you be bad for your guild?
My guild's not really pushing for Zeppo. My guild pushes for Territory Wars, and so I'm getting Balin and Great Mothers up currently. But I'm willing to farm that because I know Balin's not getting a Lightspeed bundle anytime soon. Gungans. I'm not going to farm Gungans because Gungans are going to get a Lightspeed bundle as soon as Naboo's gone.
Yeah, like I've been calling that like literally the moment the Naboo Ray is gone, we get a Gungan Lightspeed bundle. It's a foregone conclusion.
Within the month.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive, especially with Jar Jar now being around permanently. The Queen's Men is one I actually do need to do that I don't think is going to get a Lightspeed bundle anytime.
Oh, no, not anytime soon. No.
But like, I just wish they would, just like what they do with like the events where they give us like the month what's coming out. I wish they would do that, or at least announce when Lightspeed bundles are coming out. Like The Swiggle Events Discord data mine is not the announcement of bundles coming out.
The fact that
Like,
they don't even have their own Discord or anything, like it's literally just them using some third party and just being like, "Yo, we're just gonna post it here using our community manager."
God bless Sig and Barbarossa and the team over at Swiggle Events, because God knows I wouldn't know what a quarter of what's going on in this game if they weren't doing all the work that they're doing. But I mean, even if we just got like a pack announcement on the forums of like, here's what's coming out this month, I don't know. There's just a lot better ways to do it, and I think they're trying to basically just weaponize it to make more money, which I don't like, but also I don't expect them to do anything more because it's
a company and it's a company under EA, so take it as you will. I think the last thing we really haven't talked about are this era and the next era. I mean, we
only have 2 characters left for this era.
Yeah, just 2. That's wild. The question is, will I spend an extra $200 on finishing this era, or do I just leave it and move on to Leia?
And the answer is,
I don't know. I'm not excited for Mace Windu. I'm not.
Look, if Mace Windu wasn't already in the game in the exact same version of the one that we're getting, minus a robe, I'd be so hyped about a legendary Mace Windu.
And like, if you hadn't chosen Jocasta Nu as the lifter, like, bruh, you could have given me anyone in that slot and I would have been more willing to farm it than Jocasta Nu. Like, oh my gosh, it's just I like
the grandma with the rifle, to be exact, or to be clear.
Whatever. The new character at least looks dope. You know, I'm glad they didn't just take like Sacy Tin or who's the other idiot that dies? Is it I'm a Gun Die? I don't remember. Whoever else died in that scene.
It's the guy who I always think is Ethkoth, but it's not Ethkoth, but he's the same species. And I can't remember his name ever.
Yeah, I don't. It was Kit Fisto, Sacy Tin.
I'll Google. What's his name?
And isn't it Ethkoth? Aren't those the 3?
Not. Because I always think it's Ethkoth. Aegon Kolar.
Aegon Kolar, that's right. Okay. Yeah, so instead of doing those 3, which all of them died really quickly, and I don't really care for them, I do appreciate this. Star Wars has figured out a secret since 77, honestly, but 1980 was, I think, the moment they really caught on and figured it out with the invention of Boba Fett. All you have to do is give a dude a cool helmet, and it doesn't matter what his background is. Done. People love him. Like, literally, Boba showed up in a parade for the first time. Not in a movie, a parade. And everyone at the parade lost their minds and loved the character. And they're like, who is this character? And then he showed up in the holiday special, and it's like, well, this sucked. But Boba Fett became the most cool character ever, and now we have Mandalorians and all kinds of stuff. So, same thing here. I love the fact that they just gave us a guy with a cool helmet, and they did mention in the Q&A for Jocasta Nu that they're like, is Jocasta Nu's kit going to have any call outs to Grand Inquisitor, him being a temple guard? Is there going to be anything with that? And they said, no, another character will have those call outs. This is going to be it. Whether or not this is actually the Grand Inquisitor, we don't know. He doesn't really look like he has a long neck. But who knows? We also saw short neck in live action, so.
And he also seemed like, I don't know, relatively. The picture looks relatively lanky, and so it kind of fits the build. And then also when we see him in Rebels and like the flashbacks and stuff, the like outfit kind of covers his neck quite a bit, anyway. So I don't know. It might be him. It might not be. I mean, they could do just for it being. At least like not just super generic, but like at least we know like, oh, it's him. I don't know.
Yeah, and they like to save money while making money, so they could just reuse like the stance of Grand Inquisitor in game and stuff like that, and be able to get away with a lot of that type of stuff, reusing it because it's Grand Inquisitor. So we'll see. I'm excited to see this guy's kit. This is probably the one I'm most excited for out of the Jedi Vanguard team. So
I think Depa though is gonna be the kind of key component to the team. Well, I mean, obviously Mace is going to be the key component to the team, but I don't think he's going to change Jocasta being terrible.
Yeah, no, I think we're not going to see the whole picture with Jocasta until we get to Mace Windu. I think at best we're going to see a Keller and Beck team, and like an actual Keller and Beck team where it's like, you know, by himself without Jedi Knight Anakin and Ki-Adi-Mundi and that type of thing. I don't think it's going to be very good though. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Although she is kind of scary. I went against her in my first round and she scared the crap out of me.
Yeah. Who do you think is going to be the 5th for the Jedi Vanguard team? If you had to guess now, you think it's Beck?
I don't know. Beck, I don't know if he has enough synergy to really, like, he has some good healing and stuff, but like, I don't know. I'd have to see more. I think Barriss would be a solid choice. I think Barriss is what they're kind of going for.
That's my thought, which I don't like because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and also Barriss is so helpful as a plug and play. Like, I love Barriss as a plug and play.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't mind her having like a more permanent home. But I could also see Shaak Ti slotting in there because Shaak Ti just is good on like any team. Having a basic buff dispel and a mass dispel on the team, just those two things alone is like great to have on any team.
Yeah, so, and I mean, Barriss did get taken away by the Temple Guard, so I guess there's that tenuous connection.
And so you're in the mind of CG now.
Yeah.
Making the stretch of a connection.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, we got one more negative we got to talk about.
Yeah, this would be the next era. Why are pirates required in the raid? I didn't make a video about this because I was so upset that I knew the video would be me raging for 2 minutes and then not having anything to say.
Literally exactly what I did. But now is the time where we can take our gloves off and just rant because there were so many other options.
Yeah.
There were so many options that like, personally, I was hoping for Sith Empire. Because it'd be a callback to the original raid on the Jedi Temple led by Malgus. Like, I think that'd be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Some people said 501st, and you just kind of make them dark side. And it's like, yeah, it's not those 501st that were at the raid on the temple, but whatever. Some people wanted Inquisitors. And I'm like, it doesn't really make sense. But I mean, I just got my Inquisitor Lightspeed bundle, so. But oh my gosh.
Does this take away one of our free-to-play teams? That's one of the biggest problems that I'm worried about. Because like we already had the Bad Batch, we already had the Dark Side clones, and we had the Jedi Vanguard. And so we're like, oh yeah, these are our paid-for teams. And then we're going to get like 1 or 2 free-to-play teams that are easier to access. You know, just like the Naboo raid. You know, but then they're just like, yeah, pirates are coming. So now it's like, is this taking the spot of one of our other teams that we can use here?
Well, I don't know how it doesn't. It's kind of my thing because we have 5 attempts for the raid unless they want to up that. And
they did up it to 8 during Endor. So there is a chance, but not a very good chance.
But that was because it was 3v3.
Uh-huh.
So unless this raid's also going to be 3v3, but that doesn't really make sense since Tarkin's supposed to lead the clones.
Yeah, and why would they give the Jedi Vanguard tag out at all if they were doing a 3v3 team? They're obviously making a 5-person team.
Yeah, so I definitely think it's 5v5. And the Jedi Vanguards, maybe you could argue there's a second team to be made with Beck as the lead. But, I mean, I think we have a pretty good idea that Luminara and Kit Fisto are also going to be allowed in this raid since we got that. And I'm Gonna Die is going to be allowed in this raid because of that weird Lightspeed bundle that we got. And then Mace Windu, original Mace Windu might be allowed even though he's not a Jedi Vanguard.
Yeah, that one was weird to come in that Lightspeed bundle, and I don't get it.
I'm really confused. I'm just really confused on what the Jedi Vanguard are going to be able to do. But as it stands now, the Jedi Vanguards are utter trash. Like, arguably worst faction in the game.
I mean, to be fair, they fixed the Omicrons because the Omicrons, for some reason, were on in Territory War and not GAC. Fix your game, CG.
I was told that was a visual bug. But then they made that dev post that made it sound like it wasn't just a visual bug.
I fought a Jocasta this week with after the change happened, and I took a counter in that was like a 100% win rate counter and got absolutely stomped.
Okay.
So I think it was full on the Omicrons weren't working. So I think she might actually be a little scary.
I'm surprised Arnold and stuff didn't notice. The other people that fought it didn't notice it not working, or that used it on offense didn't notice it.
Yeah, like I looked at the win rate and everything, and in GAC, and Wampa was like 95%, 91%, somewhere in there. Threw Wampa against it, her Omicron activated, where she reduces their health down to 66 health or 65 health, and just got one tapped. And I'm like, yeah, they definitely fixed it.
That might make sense why our Jocasta's got some holds in territory wars too.
Makes sense.
But I just think that right now it's pay to play, pay to play, pay to play, pay to play. And we have one more team that might be free to play of a Jedi Vanguard leftover. But the original post, it had the 3 factions and then the transmission interrupted or whatever.
Yeah.
And if we assume pirate slots in there, we have all the factions that they're announcing. And that has me really, really worried. And I think Scribe was the one who said in his video of like, I'm really nervous about it, but I'm going to reserve my pitchforks until the full raid requirements come out and we can see where all of this stacks up. Because this is really going to suck. Because even when not Naboo, I mean, on my free-to-play, I just recently went and got the Maul Newt Sidious team and got my cheap Jedi team. And I took them all up to gear 12, and so I'm doing 900k a raid in Naboo, which for like a 3 million account, I'm like, that's pretty decent. Like I can at least almost contribute $1 million to the raid.
And like if everyone does about that much, you get first crate, no problem.
Yeah, and so we're getting to second crate actually, with just having quite a few people that pushed for it, and we're all free to play. And I don't know how we're gonna push for this because I'm not gonna pressure people into. And the reason I'm able to do this is because Maul, Newt, Sidious, all shipment farms. None of them require me to go farm a hard node. And then I'm using Luminara, Kit Fisto, Qui-Gon Jinn, Grandmaster Yoda, Mace Windu. Again, not a single hard node or Cantina farm in there. I can just use shipments to get those characters. And then the gear is super easy because none of them are Cairo characters. So it's like, okay, it took me a while. It took some investment, but I was able to do it. I don't see that option for this raid.
It's almost looking like the best option is going for Tarkin clones for the simple reason that so many people want it anyways. Not because it's actually a good farm, but like no one wants the Bad Batch. We've been suggesting in videos across multiple content creators that, start farming Bad Batch, the new Bad Batch in the background, just because they're all farmable and it's not looking pretty for their new raid. But so many people have a passion. They have a little PP. They have a little passion project for the clones.
A lot of people in this community have a little PP.
Yeah, and so like that Tarkin and clone sounds great. And so there's so many people that are willing to push that direction, even though it's outside of what they're doing for their account. So Tarkin and clones might be the way to go, which sounds awful.
But they're not going to be... So Oppo will be farmable in 2 weeks from now. So right around in between Jedi Temple Guard and Depa, I think is when he'll become farmable. And with everything looking the way it's looking, they said pirates are going to be late to the raid, so we're thinking the raid should start shortly after the first run of the Banff event. So not all the clones are going to be farmable by that point.
Yeah, no, like,
and so you're going to be probably
it's going to be a repeat of the Naboo raid, where the first 3 months of the Naboo raid, no one could get a crate. And I think a lot of people learned their lesson for that. There's a reason that people are shooting for Bad Batch right now already, and
I don't care about my Bad Batch.
No, I
don't. About 6 stars right now,
and I just could not care less. I just don't.
Dreading having to put gear on them. And also the team is just mid. Like it's not bad,
Like, I don't
But-
even need it for Conquest, because with no Zetas, I can finish all of the feats with my regular old Bad Batch in Conquest. And, like, the
Even target practice.
Target practice, I just need I have a Gear 7, like 5-star Omega that I just throw in. You just need her lead, and then you just hit AoEs with the old Bad Batch, and you get it.
I actually found doing auto basic is faster, but
How
either
dare
way.
you?
But yeah, you don't need them for Conquest. They're not countering anything major. Like, they're a solid team. I won't dog on them too much, but they're not. I mean, they're worse than Malgus, right? Like,
Yeah.
and that's kind of saying something these days, where Malgus has fallen down in the meta quite a bit, and
He's still like an apex predator, but he's definitely not like the apex predator at this point.
And so I don't know, like, that's just kind of where I see them at, and have been unimpressed with what I've seen. And not even in territory wars are they doing something fun. Like,
yeah, they're just kind of sitting
they're
there.
kind of just there.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's I don't know. We'll see. Well, as Scribbles said, reserve your pitchforks. But I don't know. Don't pull them out yet, but just start sharpening them. Just yeah.
Get the grindstone out. Just
Yeah.
get them ready. I also don't know what pirates they're gonna be releasing. I know 2 of them probably from Skeleton Crew, but are we just gonna get a bunch of Skeleton Crew characters? The joke in my chat the other day was, we're gonna get all of the kids from Skeleton Crew, and they're all gonna be one unit. It's gonna be a large unit like Great Mothers, except for just all the kids.
Oh, that would be great.
They'll have an ability where they stand on each other's shoulders and put a trench coat on.
And then part of their unique is they get instantly defeated when Lord Vader's on the field.
Lord Vader's there, yep.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see. We'll talk a bit later on about how we change the actual pirate faction to make it something interesting. But right now, it's just I don't know. I'm not interested. So, and it's not, and it's required for the raid for some reason.
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
It really. I'm sorry. I gotta talk a little bit more about this.
Shoot.
I know we want
What
to
do you
move on
got?
to the
What do
next
you got?
topic, but dude, this was such a layup for them.
Mm-hmm.
This raid, like Order 66, our whole generation, like, that's the most iconic moment in Star Wars for a lot of us, and this could have been such just a slam dunk win, and it's just because that the hype around, or how hype it could be, I think it's pissing people off more, and it's just being turned against them.
It also feels a lot like it's cobbled together, like they had other planned, and then they started to realize how little people cared about other things, and how much they wanted clones, and how much they wanted, episode 3 to be a big thing, and they scrapped something else, because like you see the Bad Batch, and like they get canned. That the raid is delayed by like 3 months, and they don't even have any like test worthy by the time January comes around. Like, this feels like they had a whole plan that just got completely scrapped because they realized it wouldn't work, and they're frantically coming up with things. And like,
I think the episode system has been shooting them in the foot.
mm-hmm.
I think, I don't know, and this is all conjecture. I don't have any sort of inside information from CG, but this feels like a upper management decision that, we're going to move to this schedule, and we're going to show everybody and people are going to get excited about it, and all this stuff. And then the actual like grunt workers who are actually coding and making the game and doing it are now just completely overwhelmed and aren't able to keep up with the dev cycle needed to get all these events out.
They need like,
we've had terrible testing.
3-4 more developers to be able to handle what they put themselves into, especially with
one more laptop.
Dude,
double their laptops.
They essentially doubled their overall amount that they're making per month off of the Lightspeed bundles. Hire another dude. Like, come on.
I don't know. And I've been enjoying Marvel Rivals quite a bit, and every like before the season starts, they have this video that they come out with, and they like have the developers talk through like what the changes they're making, and what kind of led them to that, and what the content's going to be, and they show a little bit of test footage, and it's just like, that's like we just got one for that game yesterday or 2 days ago, and people are the internet's all talking about how exciting the new character is and all of this stuff. And it's like, if we got even just a sliver of that, like a road ahead.
I would kill 7 people and probably one of my family members. Okay, you're
distant family members.
Okay, hard bargain. You guys talked me into it. 3 family members. If I could get Meathead here on Damn Fine Discussion, and he just talks about how excited they were about this new character, what kind of their inspiration was, instead of just this bland text document, come in and talk to me, and we'll talk about it. I think people would be so hyped about that, and it would be so much more enjoyable. I've been watching all kinds of Andor behind the scenes and watching the interviews with Tony Gilroy and stuff, and it's been so much fun. And I'm like, other games do this, movies do this, why can't we get this for Galaxy of Heroes? Like
Yes, 100%. And I don't know, I think that I won't speak on Meathead's behalf, but I can also see where he just is scared to do that kind of stuff, because anytime a bad change happens in the community or to the game, Meathead gets a lot of the backlash on it. And it's like, you guys realize Meathead is not the one making these decisions. Like, his job is entirely just to be the messenger.
If you bully Meathead, you're not allowed here in the Beaver Dam. That's just how it works. Yeah, that's not okay.
We take you out.
You shouldn't be bullying people online for any reason. The fact that people like bully actors for portrayals, I'm just like, dude, they followed the lines in the script. Leave them alone. Like, don't do that stuff. But yeah, if you bully Meathead, I'm upset at you, because we want this kind of stuff to happen. We don't want to push them farther away. But anyways,
I love Meathead, actually. Meathead is great. If you ever had a chance to actually talk with him, and he actually is pretty active in the Swiggle Events Discord. You can occasionally get a question answered by him and things. If your question's not, hey Meathead, why are you developers so stupid or something, he won't answer that, but he'll answer constructive questions. So
speaking of, I'm gonna send him a DM while we're sitting here just for fun.
I tried to DM him the other day, I think when we were playing Marvel Rivals, and I said, hey Meathead, do you play Marvel Rivals? And he didn't answer me.
How dare he?
I know. I should send him a link to my YouTube channel and say, do you not know who I am?
Anyways, going on to the next thing, because we've been kind of bouncing around a lot. Shout out to promote a guild, a guild shout out. We actually don't have one, so if you are looking for new members in your guild and you want a guild shout out, come DM me, throw it in the Discord, in the damn Discord. You can find the link down below in the description, and come let us know, and we'll help you guys get some members. But unfortunately, that's all we have. But we'll jump into our character spotlight, and it is Tarkin. We are going to talk about Tarkin because he's kind of back in here. Now, do you think his Zetas are worth it? This is actually an interesting question. Because I dropped his Zetas the moment that I reworked it, because I'm silly and was like, if I'm going to test it, I'm going to test it. But like, what are your thoughts on the Zetas?
I think for your average player right now, no. In a couple months, it'll be yes, I think, because I do think you're probably going to need them for the raid. If we look at like Luminar as an example, you really needed her Zeta in order to make the team work. So I do think you'll probably need his Zetas for the raid to make that team function. But if your clones are still like gear 8 or whatever, pre-Kairos, 4 stars or whatever, I don't think it's quite worth it yet. If your clones are relicked already and you're able to use him with the clones, or you have a Zeta surplus, then sure, go for it. But I'm assuming most people are Lightspeed bundle purchasers and they're starved for Zetas. And I don't think Tarkin is your best investment right now. I do think that will probably change soon.
I will argue, I do think that there's an argument to get Callous Conviction his unique, because his unique not only gives him 50% potency at the start of the battle for each Empire ally, which you can take that with a grain of salt even if you don't have clones, because this guy can nuke even without Empire. But you know, that's a solid part of it. And then on top of that, for each enemy that has a debuff, he gets plus 20% potency. Keep in mind he deals damage equal to potency, so this is ramping up his damage. And then he also gains the protection up at the beginning of the battle, as well as protection up when he starts getting low health. And so this does, as well as whenever you inflict a debuff, he is recovering health and protection. A lot of this feels very tank-like, and this basically this unique is what causes him to be able to sit there and like, I've sat there and tanked hits from a Sith Eternal for 5 minutes straight with this character. Like, it's gross.
I think there's a lineup with him that we just maybe haven't quite found yet that is gonna take him to be nuts. I know when you were doing your testing, I was in chat trying to get you to test Gar Saxon lead because it gives all Empire allies counter chance. And I thought, well, if we can get Tarkin out there taking hits and then counter attacking, you can get him to stack those nuke stacks a lot faster, and then you can nuke quicker. The problem was he didn't seem to survive enough without having something like Wat Tambor or something with him.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if you do 3 stacks of the armor, it gives you 100% counter chance. So I think that's overall just the better option.
But I don't know that for the average player, Wat and or armor are worth putting with Tarkin. I feel like they're gonna need those characters elsewhere. I also still haven't geared up my armor. My armor's been sitting at level 1, gear 1 for the longest time. So I don't know. I really feel like there's a way just with like basically Empire characters that I think you can do it. And maybe I'm crazy and maybe it doesn't exist. And I'm just hopeful. But I think we've seen some decent things with like Thrawn being thrown in there to pass turns over to Tarkin more often. Maybe even a Thrawn lead to help him just boost turn meter more often. I don't know. I want to do more testing with it, but it's hard because his Omicron isn't turned on most of the time. And so
yeah,
I really feel like there's a comp out there that's just Empire basically. And maybe some weird freaking lead like I'm a Gundai who gives counter chance. I think it's just a general counter chance. I don't even think you have to be Jedi. But I could be wrong on that. I don't know I'm a Gundai's kit off the top of my head, if I'm being totally honest.
I couldn't tell you either. I couldn't even tell you what Kit Fisto does besides potency up. But anyways, for team comps, I think that there's something out there. So far we have this right here. We have our Tarkin with clones, obviously, which is gonna be the best synergy overall. But like, I've been toying around with giving him the Sith Eternal lineup, which is, you know, Wat Tambor, GBA, Thrawn, and armor. You have your speeds dialed in, so Wat Tambor gives tank tech over to Moff Tarkin. Then armor inflicts armor shred, which gives her third stack, and then Thrawn passes turn back over, and then she gives 3 stacks to Tarkin. He can't die to Sith Eternal if you use this lineup. He can't die to basically anything, and so it's just a matter of, can you take enough turns to ramp up enough damage to wipe the enemy team? Because essentially every time he uses his basic, he increases his potency by 100%, and then right before you're ready to kill off the other team, you hit his last special and he gets another 30% potency as well as increased crit damage, and then you hit him with the AoE and the AoE. Yeah, the tactical nuke. It literally deals damage equal to your potency. When you ramp up that much potency, it's gross. And so
he's also gaining defense equal to his potency. So the longer the battle goes, the more tanky he's even becoming. So I feel like even teams that ramp offense over time, they're still not really going to be able to make a lot of dents in them unless they're really, really ramping.
Be careful of any team that has true damage, though, because it will go straight through that defense. But like, I've gotten it to a point where like a team's dealing like 1,000 damage per hit against him because his defense is so high from his potency. So I have him not currently remodded for his new set, but overall, modding wise, the best I've seen is either speed potency, making sure you have a potency cross, and I actually found a crit chance arrow. He doesn't crit very often, so giving that crit chance arrow actually does some good stuff to make him.
Triangle, you mean?
Sorry, yes, triangle.
Okay.
My bad. Thank you. Crit chance triangle to be able to get a little bit more common crits, because if he crits with that ultimate firepower, he can wipe a team really easily. If he doesn't crit, not nearly as much boom. And so overall, I'd probably say 2 potency sets and a crit chance set, or 3 potency sets is my favorite, but speed potency works as well. And just
I also heard some arguments for an offense set, actually. Somebody said the math was running that you actually get better offense from the offense set. My thing with that though is unless you have god mods, you need that extra potency to make him tankier.
Yeah.
Because before he starts ramping that potency, you really need him to survive. So I think for most players, I agree with you. I think 2 potency sets and then maybe that crit chance set. I do feel like if you go with the crit chance set, you don't need the crit chance triangle, maybe, or just depending on your crit chance secondaries, right? If you can have good crit chance secondaries. Then...
And I mean, to be fair, I'm guessing you out there at home have a crit chance triangle that you don't have any idea where to put it because no one really needs it. So if you have a high speed crit chance triangle, congratulations, you have a new home for it.
Yep, especially if it's a crit chance or potency set, because that's even better.
Yep.
I also tried modding him for extra defense. I tried a defense arrow actually on him, trying to kind of make mine tankier without having great mods on him, and it didn't work. So if you think that's gonna work, just don't.
Fair.
Don't try to run defense sets on him.
Well, if you guys, you can see here, I've got 2 teams right here. If you guys find out what this 3rd team is, if you find the God team for Tarkin, hit me up and I will test it out. It's there. There's got to be something. There's something there. I swear this team can beat GLs. I know it can, even outside of the clones. There's something there. Like this feels on the same level as the Tarkin Kron, where he dabbed for 5 minutes straight, and then after he dabs, he just calls in a massive storm and kills everyone. Like that. We can bring it back, guys. I want it back. Let's do it. So
it's gonna be like freaking Ugnaught Cup and then Tarkin or something. Remember, like, how did anyone figure this out?
Oh, but
yeah, I think that's... on to fix your damn roster.
How dare you interrupt me like that?
Oh, sorry.
But let's go fix your damn roster. No. No.
This is basically what Beaver and I have noticed with people in roster reviews in the last week or 2 weeks, and my chair's in the wrong spot now. So I will. You want to start with this?
I'll take the first one because this is one that I've been seeing a lot, and I do have a little asterisk for it. A little asterisk. The Skywalker trio, stay in it till you finish it. The Rebel Trinity, you need to finish your Rebel Trinity. Oh no, we lost Matt. Where'd he go?
It wasn't me, I swear.
I don't believe you. So stay in the Rebel Trinity for all you can. You want to go through all of them. They all are all connected. It's super easy to go from one to another. Don't escape that overall. Now, that being said, there's been a lot of Lightspeed bundles, and specifically, there's a lot of people that have a PP for the clones that we talked about. I've been having a lot of people come to me. They finished like Jabba, they finished like JML, and they're like, they have Leia left, but they just bought the Lord Vader Lightspeed bundle. They bought the Bad Batch Lightspeed bundle. They're buying the clones. They're paying for new characters for the first time in their lives. At that point, I don't see a reason not to go for Lord Vader. I think that there's certain cases that make sense to take a deviation for sure, especially when it comes to something like the raid that can really help you out being able to get good crates in the raid early on and continuing to get good crates throughout. But most things are not important enough to escape that trio unless it gives you a lot of value. You'll always want to look at value. So if you're close to an executor, then grab the executor. It's time based and you get crystals daily from it. There are some things that you can see in there, but overall the Rebel Trinities, you got Jabba, one of the best defensive GLs. You got Leia, the best PvP GL in the game. You have JML, one of the best PvE content characters in the game. You're getting some really great value out of there. You don't want to leave.
Yeah, and I kind of want to insert in this too. A lot of people I've seen are interrupting their Skywalker trio with guild farms, and that bothers me. Look, if your guild cannot wait for you to finish the GLs that you're close to, and they're forcing you to go for things. I mean, I love going for Bo-Katan Mandalore. I love going for JKCK. Those are great things to add to your account. But if you're in the middle of this farm of going between these GLs, you're probably closest to those. Finish those out, and then insert the farm your guild wants you to do. If your guild is trying to pressure you into completely pivoting to a team you're nowhere close to, it might be time for you to find a new guild. And I know that's hard because a lot of people are really close to their guilds or really like their guilds. But if you really don't like if you're not super close to people in your guild and they're trying to force you and you're like, oh, well, I need to say it, like, just leave. Like, you don't need to screw your account over to please a guild that you're not happy with. Now,
and be like, talk to your guild too. Like the guild that I got into, I was like, hey, I've got Bo-Katan Mandalore, but I can't do Zepho for another like 5 months. And they're like, okay, sounds good. And so as soon as I finished the things that I had planned for those 5 months, I did Zepho next, and now I'm helping the guild fully. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You don't feel like you have to give your life and soul to your guild, but also communicate to your guild. We're all people.
Yeah, and like my guild, we wanted to make a big focus on moving towards Great Mothers because of how strong Great Mothers are in territory wars, and our guild really likes territory wars. And I was like, sure, I can eventually include Great Mothers in my farm, but it's going to be a bit later. Like, it's not going to be right this second. I have other things I need to work on. I'm close to a bunch of GLs, and so I'm just now getting to this. And Great Mothers have been out for how long, and farmable for how long? But if you just communicate with people, they're usually pretty understanding. Building off of this idea, I want to talk about JML because a lot of people are saying that JML is trash. And while he might be the worst GL right now,
second worst,
I think he might be the worst.
Sith Eternal, dude. I don't know.
You have the option to run Seabane. That's my argument there.
You have the option to run two. That's like saying, hey, JML's good if I run him with Lord Vader. Like, saying you have to throw. No, but that's exactly the point. Is Bane is a GL that you can throw with other GLs.
Yeah, but if you get stuck in, like, let's say there's a Leia that has a really good Kron or something, you can take it out with C Bane that you couldn't necessarily take out with just C or just Bane. I don't know. I'm getting to the point where I feel like JML is the worst.
With that same argument, Hezra. I have been able to beat every single GL with every single variant with JML with Hezra.
Yes, but Hezra's too often stuck with Glad.
And Bane is too often stuck by himself.
I don't know. You guys can debate this in the comments on if you think JML or C is worse. I don't think either of us is arguing that either of them is above.
Yeah, they're both the bottom two. But yeah, no. Yeah.
JML also lost to Treya for me today. So,
dude, Jedi Knight Revan lead's literally designed to beat Treya.
Oh, I probably should have swapped leads.
Jedi Knight Revan's like, oh yeah, you're using Treya? Yeah, reduce their max health every time you use a basic.
Oops. But anyways, I got through the team anyways, and it didn't matter that I dropped the battle. But too many people I've seen that get JML and don't have Jedi Knight Revan. Like, that's the bare minimum of supporting cast work you need to do for JML. You can do it right after JML. It's not a big deal if you don't have them beforehand. Obviously, it's probably easier to get Jedi Knight Revan beforehand because Jedi Knight Revan is a Gear 12 farm. Not even. He's like
not even. It's a Gear 9. You can do the whole event with Gear 9. It's so easy. And
I say Gear 12 really because you have to go. You usually want to go get Malak, and so
yeah.
But they're non-Cairo characters. They're hard nodes, but you should be preparing for those in advance if you're going for JML. And Jedi Knight Revan is the bare minimum. JKCK, you probably should go get, and I probably should go get. But I can see pushing that one off just because if you're short on Kairos, you bought other Lightspeed bundles, you have conflicting priorities. Like, I can see pushing that off a little bit. But JML without Jedi Knight Revan it would be the worst GL.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing as like getting a Sith Eternal and then never getting a Wat Tambor or getting, the Armorer. The Armorer would be, in my opinion, the Armorer Empire, Thrawn stuff and all that kind of thing. That kind of feels like going for JKCK for Sith Eternal. Same kind of thing with JML. But the problem is with Sith Eternal, this team gives Sith Eternal his most viability. JML, you get Jedi Knight Revan in there, you get JKCK in there, you can make like 3 or 4 Jedi teams that are just, they're all like A tier. You get 1 S tier team or 4 A tier teams.
I think you do the same thing I do, which is I take basically all my Jedi onto offense. I really don't put a lot of Jedi on defense. And then I have a lot of options on how I want to customize them around, where I want to put them. And if I want to, honestly, a lot of times what I end up doing is I end up putting Jedi Master Luke solo against Qui-Gon because I don't want to deal with Qui-Gon Omi, and I get 5 banners with it. And then I take Jedi Knight Revan with Jedi Knight Luke, and I go kill SLKR or something because some people are
Yeah,
stupid.
and like obviously, if you have a Rey, you're probably putting Hezra with him. But like Jedi Knight Revan, Jedi Knight Luke, and Hezra can beat Jabba and in 3v3 and 5v5 for full banners. Like you have so many ways to split up your Jedi that it's just amazing. But you have to go for those extras. In fact, a lot of the times what I see is people have like a Gear 8 Jedi Knight Revan or a Gear 12 Jedi Knight Revan, and then they're going for Jedi Knight Luke. And I'm like, the moment you get Jedi Knight Luke, take a second Relic Jedi Knight Revan so you have a good team for your Jedi. And then when you get JML, you'll just add another person to that team and make it an even better team. And like you got to get that supporting cast.
And you don't need to take Jedi Knight Revan to super high relics.
No.
You can leave him at relic 3. Like, that's totally fine.
I quote the almighty Arnold here.
The almighty.
You're telling me to Relic 7 Jedi Knight Revan. Everyone tells me to Relic Jedi Knight Revan. If I have to Relic 7 Jedi Knight Revan, then I have to Relic 7 every single character in the game because he does everything he needs to do at Relic 5. Why would I ever Relic 7 Jedi Knight Revan? He now has a Relic 7 Jedi Knight Revan, by the way. But that was his whole shtick like 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
It is a character that does everything you needed to do at Relic 5. It's 100% true. And the only reason you would even need to go to 5 over 3 is just, I think, for that extra survivability, just a little bit, just so he doesn't die to AoEs or anything, and his savior can proc on somebody else, and well, because he can't proc on himself when he's not in the lead, and that way you can proc it on JML or something is usually what ends up happening. If you get in a tough battle, your JML is constantly taunting, they end up focusing him down, he gets all the way down, and then all of a sudden you have a tank GL that's usually at Relic 9, all the way back to full health and full protection, and takes a bonus turn. And it's like, wow, this battle just turned around easily for me. So I prefer Relic 5, but...
Zetas, please. Oh, I'm begging you. Like, Jedi Knight Luke, he can use his leadership Zeta. Sure, it's great for PvE content, but like Jedi Master Luke, he has some good Zetas. Honestly, I'd put Jedi Knight Revan Zetas above Jedi Master Luke Zetas on that team. Jedi Master Luke does most of what he needs to do without his Zetas. There's like a couple, basically grab JML's uniques, and then after that, like his uniques and his leadership. After that, drop the second special one on Jedi Knight Revan. Give him some love because leaving him without it is painful to see.
Yes, I was very fortunate that I chose to go for Revans as like some of my first farms back in the day, and so when I started getting all these Lightspeed bundles added on, it's like, oh, I already have all my Revans ready. I have my Padme like I was just going for things that were good at the time, and it's like, oh, now I have all this stuff that just fits so perfectly into all these Lightspeed bundles.
Yup. So give some love to the Jedi. They are an amazing... There is a reason that so much of this faction in the new times is being gatekept by Jedi Vanguard, all this different wording.
Republic Jedi.
Yeah, because it's if they were to give them as much viability as they could, this whole faction would be the S tier faction of the game at all times. They're having to nerf the faction with different keywords as of recently because it's so good already. So
100%. And just look at Hezra as the example of that, right? Like, they gave him the Jedi tag, gave him basically no Jedi synergy, and just because he has the Jedi tag and his kit is decent, that it makes Jedis so strong.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, I am passionate about this last one. Stop ignoring Conquest and stop ignoring Datacrons. Okay, Datacrons are here to stay.
You can keep going.
Oh, okay. I was like,
that was 1 second to them, not to you. You're fine.
Beaver cut me off, guys. He doesn't want me to talk anymore. Dude, Datacrons. You need to farm Datacrons. They're not going anywhere. I'm sorry. And I made a video about this, and maybe it's just that I'm salty and my video did really poorly on this because no one likes Datacrons. But you have to farm at least a couple Datacrons. You don't have to do a ton. You don't have to go crazy with it, but especially if you're in a Rhodium or Kyber, you have to be doing your 50 crystal refreshes on Conquest while it's running and getting some Datacrons farmed. When there's strong level 3 Datacrons, farm a bunch of just level 3s. You don't even have to go crazy and go get level 9s. Pick like 1 or 2 and farm those level 9s and then get those. But other than that, you don't have to go crazy with it. And the other thing is I keep seeing people that are like, oh, I don't play Conquest. I used to be this person because I hated Conquest. But you're going to be constantly behind the meta and frustrated if you don't play Conquest. And I've even tried to be better about this on my free-to-play of playing Conquest to actually get some rewards out of it, because the Conquest rewards kind of suck for normal and easy mode. But it's an unfortunate reality. I know it's chore quest, but you're going to need those rewards. You're going to need those characters, really. I feel screwed over that I didn't get Jocasta new, because now as we're going into this raid, I'm like, damn, I don't have Jocasta. I'm going to have to somehow clog together a Jedi Vanguard team without Jocasta, and it's probably not going to go very well.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's one of those things that, like, especially with the invention of the pay-to-win Omicron, I can see a reason for getting it at this point. Like, I didn't see a point for the Omicron for Shorty, but for Padawan Obi-Wan, like, it does so many of your feats. Getting to a point where you can auto conquest and make it easier, because it'll double your in-game time if you're not careful. It will. And that's painful. But if you can get, you know, different teams that are going to allow you to auto it, then great. If you're going to get things to cheese feats, great. You should focus on those things. Don't let conquest be the death of you. Make it something easy that you can take care of and have no problems. Like, JML is one of my favorite farms for this, because JML, you can cheese feats. CLS is one of the best auto teams in the entirety of Conquest. Like, so much right there that you can get.
And gold crate's fine. Like, there's no reason you have to red crate if you don't want to. If you don't enjoy Conquest, gold crate it every time. You'll get every character. You'll get them 3 months late, sure, but you'll get every character and move on with your day, because gold crate is so much easier to get than red crate. Now, if you actually want to get the characters on time, red crate is hard, and it takes a little bit of focus, and it takes a little bit of time, but plenty of people make guides about it. You can YouTube just about every single feat and find a video on it. It's definitely doable, even with lower GP rosters. I won't say low GP rosters, because I'll be honest, when I was like 4 million GP just entering hard conquest, that was the most miserable time in conquest I've ever had. But once you get above that 6, 7, 8 million GP range, you usually have enough teams that you can squeak out a red crate if you're really dedicated to it. But it's going to take some work.
Your best friend, SWGOH4, the number, .com. Or sorry, .life, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Swiggo4life.com, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's Swiggo4.life.
Oh.
Yes. I apologize. SWGOH, the number 4.life. I will put a link in the comment section, or not the comment section, but the description, just so that way you don't get confused and you can find it. It's Bit Dynasty's website. He goes through and he gives every single character that gives the buffs and debuffs that you need and all that type of stuff. You can literally just look it up and then just plug it in with your own roster and play around with it. Like, it's the only reason that I can red crate in Conquest without, you know, doing something drastic. I mean, paying a couple $1,000, not anything else, obviously.
Obviously not.
Yeah.
There's also people you can pay to do your conquest, but that's a whole other market. Just
pay your brother like $20 to go do your conquest. It's not going to be done well, but at least it'll get done.
Yeah. You'll be like, wait, why do I have a bunch of level 9 datacrons that are all terrible?
I re-rolled for accuracy. Are you proud of me?
Hey, this wasn't on our list, but we'll put it here. Focus datacrons. I'm curious about your opinion on this. Have you farmed any of them, and will you?
Yes. Is it painful? Yes. Like, it's they're way too overpowered to like not put some work into it. And for those of you who are free to play, should put some work into it, and especially early on players, because they give stats. And so even if you don't have like a Phoenix, you can put some work into the focus datacrons and get a datacron you can use for a team that doesn't have relic characters.
Yes.
And so you can get some good stats into a team that, you know, doesn't have those relic characters lying around. And I appreciate that. So I don't know. They're painful how expensive they are, but they're really nice. I got the Boba Scion of Django one because I had him relicked from a guild farm. And then I have the Zalbar one just at level 3 for 3v3. Working with Darth Revan to make it so that way you can get multiple holds. And then I have the Phoenix one.
Okay. Yeah, because I bought all 4. And I immediately just took them all to level 3 and threw them on any of my non-relic teams, basically, that I was using. Which isn't much, but anytime I had to use a character that wasn't relic, I just threw on a focus datacron. So that was really helpful.
I just used my Zalbar one with my Sith Eternal with my Gear 10 Watt to get some more health into the team.
There you go. So like if you're buying the episode pass, you should have plenty of episode currency to buy all 4. It really shouldn't be a problem, especially if you're actually maxing out the pass. But at least a couple of them, you should probably at least pick one and focus on it. Originally, I was really negative on these. I was like, no, there's no way you should spend on them. I do think leveling up 1 is probably worth it for most people. I think for now, it's probably that Boba one.
It's so much, though. It's so much.
I just finished it, the Boba one today, I think. And
like the level 15 is 4 million credits, and a level 9 Kron is 2 million. Like, and that's with a 3.75, a 3.5, a 3.25, like leading up. They're so expensive, but they do some incredible stuff.
Materials back, some of them back when they eventually expire. So it's not a gone investment entirely, but yeah, focus datacrons. I think they're here to stay.
This is the Afrocron that I got held up on GAC today, and I was sad. I don't know how to beat this at all.
The Afra one seems really strong. It's almost making me want to gear my Afra, almost.
Yeah, I wasn't willing to spend $50 just to get Hondo. Sorry.
I did it, and it's how long ago was that bundle? Like 9 months ago?
Something like that, yeah.
And Afra has been sitting at gear 9 since that day.
Exactly. It's $50 for Hondo.
I did take Sauna up to Relic 8 for Rogue.
For your guild. Yep. Makes sense.
But having the Sonicron, I have not regretted that investment. That is my go-to Java counter at the moment. But anyways, any other Swiggo news or things you wanted to talk about before we move on to just Star Wars news in general?
No, I think you have a video you want to bring up. You're coming up with a video soon, right?
Yes, I do. I forgot. I'm doing a free-to-play guild update. So I haven't been doing these for a little while, but we're going to check in on 50 free-to-play players in 18 months is now what we're at. How far have all of us come in 18 months? And obviously not every single person was there from the day one. And some people have dropped out and joined us along the way. But yeah, I talked a little bit about earlier how we're doing Naboo, but I've got a lot more updates and a lot of people doing some cool and interesting things that I think are challenging what a lot of people will say is the optimal farm path to start. So I'll leave
Mr. Going for Leviathan.
Oh, and my Leviathan rush is coming along swimmingly. It doesn't make me want to suffer at all.
Oh gosh.
We do have some Star Wars news that's been happening this week. Quite a bit, actually.
I'm super excited for a lot of the Star Wars news and a lot of fun stuff happening. And a lot of it doesn't even have to do with Disney. Or that need for that matter. Anyways. So there's a petition going around for Battlefront 3. There's been a ton of talk about this. Whether this petition will go anywhere, I don't know. I'll put the link in the description for the petition so you guys can join. But yeah,
it's up to 9,669 signatures right now.
heck yeah, yeah. And so there's been a ton of content creators making videos about Battlefront 3 and how people want it and that kind of thing. It's been getting a lot of views and that type of stuff. And speaking of, as part of this whole thing, they are doing a Battlefront 2 day, which is today. Today is the Battlefront 2 day that they're trying to get over 100,000 concurrent players. There's already, as of recording this video the night before, 12,000 concurrent players, which is the max that we've seen since like the last update for it came out. And so like it hasn't really had that many players in a long time, so the servers are going to be flooded with people, whether you're playing console or PC. Everyone's doing it. And so I would hop in. I'm going to do a stream later today as of the posting of this video of playing it.
It is at the highest concurrent player count it has ever been at. Ever.
I doubt that that's adding in the stuff with like the last update, because it was originally EA only. It wasn't on Steam, so I'm guessing that's without those numbers.
Oh, okay, yes, this is Steam charts.
Yeah. So yeah, it's we're hoping to get to 100,000, and it's part of that whole we want Battlefront 3 kind of thing. Speaking of Battlefront 3, even if we don't get Battlefront 3, there's some really cool things in development called Kyber. So you may have heard of Kyber. It was originally a modding service where they basically had third-party servers, so you could start up private servers without people cheating and have mods without getting banned by EA at all, was the original idea. But they've full-blown gone into it. They're going to be making a system to give yourself new progression with just the basic mod, the Battlefront Plus mod, that you can play through it. There's over like 60 different weapons, over 100 new skins. You can play as Ahsoka, you can play as Mandalorian, adds in like 30 new heroes, absolutely insane. Also adds in bots for all game modes. So if there's a game mode that hasn't been populated in forever because no one plays the game anymore and you're itching to play it, you can go play it in Kyber 2.0. And so originally the game was the Kyber 2.0. It's currently in the test phase. I am part of the testing, and so I will be doing some content on that in the near future. But it will be coming out sooner rather than later. They're looking at maybe doing an early release in the next couple of months, and then a full release at the beginning of next year. So keep an eye out for that. Really cool, really fun. I've been loving playing Thrawn lately, and it just adds so many cool stuff from both old stuff, like even from the old Pandemic Battlefront 2, they added in Asajj Ventress and gave her the shurikens from the old Battlefront 2 and stuff like that. It's a huge project, and they've been putting so much work into it, and it's amazing to see. So even if we don't get this Battlefront 3 thing going, Kyber 2.0 is around the corner, and it's essentially Battlefront 3. So keep an eye out for that, and keep an eye out for some content from me about it too. I'm really excited for it. But the new game, on the other hand, just a little excited. Star Wars Zero Company was announced during the May the 4th celebration.
Yep. Made
by the makers of XCOM and Respawn. Respawn being the people that made Jedi Fallen Order.
Yep.
And it's very XCOM-like. I don't know if you guys know what that means, but very turn-basy, strategy-esque. There's been a lot of the... it's been fun to see the news stuff about it, because they're like, I don't know if we needed a new Swigo. And I'm like, haha, that's the game I play. But yeah.
I mean, I'm excited for it, but the release date is 2026. And whenever they just give a year, that means end of that year. It's never early in that year.
Yeah.
And so we have like over a year before this is going to come out. And I don't know, this gets me into the larger topic of Star Wars projects that get announced and then just fizzle out or never happen, or we never get news for. And like the biggest example for me, because the one I'm most excited about, is Star Wars Eclipse, the game that's set like 1,100 years before the Phantom Menace. I think it's 100.
Still hasn't been touched. It's stuck forever and never coming out.
I if I was a betting man, I would put money that it's never coming out at this point.
Then there's also the KOTOR remake still.
That has like switched hands 4 times and was canceled and then uncanceled like 3 times. And
to be fair, the last time it didn't switch hands, it's just the makers bought their way out of their parent company and split off.
Yeah, so it's like I don't even know who has it anymore, if I'm being really honest.
Someone's playing hot potato with KOTOR.
And I mean, that's such a, again, it's just such an easy win for Star Wars to just remaster that game. You look at like Oblivion remastered and how successful that was. Imagine a KOTOR remaster drops. It'll be just as, if not more successful, if they do it well. And
this is what the gameplay for Zero Company looks like, by the way. So it looks like you don't have hexagonals on the ground, but you do have hexagonals, and so you'll be moving from like one hexagonal to another. There's a cover system, tactical. It's taking place during the Clone Wars, Siege of Mandalore area, like towards the end of the Clone Wars. We'll see how it is. So
it looks cool. Like I would like to get excited about it, but ever since oh gosh, what's the game called? Level 33, is that what it's called?
1313. Yeah.
I'm thinking of Expedition 33. Ever since 1313 got canceled, it's just, I was so excited about that game, and it sounded so fun and gritty and just like exactly what I wanted in a bounty hunter Star Wars game, and then just fizzled out completely. And so it's really hard for me to get excited for Star Wars projects because it seems like we get them announced and then they never happen. I
don't know. Just hold on. Let me do this real quick.
Beaver is currently looking for a thing or thinking of a thing.
Does this look more cool? Or does adding Darth Revan into Battlefront 2 look more cool? Like, come on.
Let's be real.
Like,
let's be honest.
Being able to play as Thrawn in Battlefront 2. I want a Battlefront 3 with an extended roster. That's all I want out of Star Wars at this point. Like, I can play with this mod. I can play Bo-Katan. I can play Cal Kestis. I can do the stuff I want to. I'm not excited for Zero Company. I am, because it's a Star Wars project, but I'm worried that it's not going to happen. It's just not going to exist. Yeah.
And I hope they have a good story in it. Like, I hope it actually has an
actual story outside of Outlaws, where there was no story.
Oh my! I couldn't play Outlaws.
I need to finish it because I realized just the other day I've been paying for a subscription to Ubisoft Plus for the last like however long it's been out.
I did that for like 6 months and then realized, wow, I should have just bought the game.
Keep an eye out. We'll be doing a 24-hour stream where we beat the whole game next month.
You're gonna pay for 1 more month.
Yep.
But yeah, I just I'm so like I want to be excited about it. If this announcement came out 10 years ago, I'd been so hyped. I'd been like, oh, this is so cool. Like, I'm so excited about this. But I'm just so jaded at this point with Star Wars projects of this. Things get announced and then never happen. And like even movies, like that we've gotten so many different movies or shows. That
Star Wars Starfighter just got announced, and I'm like, I don't even know if that's actually going to come out.
I would be surprised if it does, honestly.
Yeah.
Or what was it called? Heroes of the Rebellion or Heroes of the New Republic? Is that what it's called?
The one about Cara Dune.
It was supposed to be kind of like a Cara Dune. I think Zeb was originally supposed to be a part of it. The pilot guy. I forget what it was called.
It was called like Rangers of the New Republic. It was something
Rangers
weird.
Of the New Republic.
Yeah,
that's what it was. That looked kind of cool to me, and then got canceled. And yeah, I mean, Clone Wars Season 7 got canceled originally, and eventually it came back, but I had to wait so long for Clone Wars Season 7. And I wish things happened. I wish they announced them. And going back to the Oblivion remake, that community was so excited. For those that don't know, Oblivion Elder Scrolls got a remake, and it dropped same day it was announced. Basically, there was like a little bit of leaks about it the week before, and then all of a sudden it just is out right now. And like, I just wish Star Wars would do stuff like that, so that we could just not have all of this like BS, like hype and oh, it's coming out in 3 years or whatever. And like, no, just give it to me and let me play it and let it be itself, and we'll be excited about it if it's good.
Yeah, and speaking of like, I mean, going in a good direction, Andor season 2, like, Andor season 2 finished. It solidified itself. I may not have liked the like last 3 episodes as much as I wanted to, but the culmination, they already said it beforehand, the culmination was going to be episode 7, 8, and 9, and then 10, 11, and 12 was going to be kind of coming down. Even then, 10 and 11 were just fantastic, but the whole show together, it's become my number one Star Wars show. Not necessarily because it is the best Star Wars show, although I would have strong arguments that it is. But it's because there's no Mandalorian season 3. There's no Clone Wars season 1. There's no bad to it. It's just all
Ahsoka
straight
in Clone Wars
fire.
season 1 is my favorite character.
Ahsoka in Clone Wars season 1 is my least favorite part of anything Star Wars. Sky Guy ain't it, dude. Calling Anakin Sky Guy immediately made me upset. Anyways, Andor, but yeah, Andor is just fantastic. And in the first couple of weeks that it was out, this wasn't even overall how much it's generated. In the first couple of weeks it generated over $300 million in new Disney Plus subscriptions, compared to its first season, which like barely watched. Yep. When it first came out, barely watched, and then grew a following as time went on. Second season has been one of the most wildly successful things they put out there since Mandalorian season 1. Like, it's wild how successful it is, and it's so good. And so it could cause a lot of these shows and games to get pushed out. We could be seeing another resurgence, kind of like when Mandalorian season 1 came out, where we got a whole bunch of announcements about different things. We could see some more shows being actually finished, which I hope, because I do want more Star Wars. And like, you know, I'm glad that they are trusting some people like Tony Gilroy. Like, does he like Star Wars? The answer is no, he doesn't. He's not a Star Wars fan, yet he made one of the best Star Wars shows of all time. So like, yeah. I love the hands-off approach that Kathleen Kennedy has, where she's like, yeah, you do you. Not really. I prefer having a little bit more hands-on, but I appreciate him getting more Star Wars, because if we had George Lucas and still in charge, we wouldn't be getting anything. He was maybe thinking about maybe doing a project, maybe.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what comes out of Star Wars. I want to see more, and I'm hoping that this kind of shows them that if they make something good and something quality, that people will show up to watch it. And they don't, because I don't think they did a ton of marketing for Andor season 2. Like, I didn't see much of anything. It's literally just been word of mouth of like, hey, go watch Andor season 2 because it's good. And yeah, even me, like, I still haven't finished it, and I haven't finished season 1, but I'm finally gonna go back and do it because everyone that I talk to keeps telling me how good Andor is and how good season 2 is. And it's like, okay, now I'll go do it because you guys have said how good it is. If it had just come out and I hadn't heard from people that I actually care, like, trust their opinion on, I wouldn't have gone and signed up for Disney Plus again and done it. So I don't know. I totally see. Yeah. I hope this sends a very clear message of good quality content means people will watch.
Yeah, and I think it was interesting because a lot of the actors are about divided in the show. So I've been watching a lot of behind the scenes, and I've been really pleasantly surprised that like Andor has a ton of behind the scenes content. The actors and the director are like going on press tours at this point. Like, they're fully going into like letting people see behind the scenes on this one, and I really appreciate that because we don't get that on a lot of these shows. And like the actors are about 50-50. So like the actress for Daedra, the ISB agent, and the actor for Cyril, the corpo guy, Cyril loved Star Wars. Daedra, never seen Star Wars. Walked on the set on their first day, and this one's bouncing up and down. There's stormtroopers everywhere. He's like, oh my gosh. And then this one's just like really intimidated. He's like, oh my gosh, this is like a big thing. There's so much here. And like the actors constantly would get psyched out, and Tony Gilroy would be like, Remember, we're not telling a Star Wars story. Don't ignore everything that happens out there. We're telling a story, we're trying to do something, and we're trying to tell a story, and it just happens to be in the Star Wars universe. Don't worry about, how people are going to think about this, because you're getting nervous about this. We just got to tell the best story that we can tell. And by focusing on telling a good story, they ended up with an amazing story, versus just, focusing on, hey, what's the next cameo that we can throw in this?
Yeah.
So... it's been a lot of fun to see with this show, and I am excited for future shows because of it. And yeah, we'll see what happens.
We might have to do a full spoiler discussion once I get caught up.
I'd be so down to have you on and talk about it, because I do reaction videos to like new Star Wars stuff as members only videos. I'd be so down to have you on and we can discuss it back and forth.
Sounds good. Well, I think we have some members questions to
Yes.
answer.
We're gonna start with the ridiculous one first. Okay, I've got this image here. This, for those of you who don't know, is Ben Quadraneros. You might recognize him from Star Wars Episode 1. Star Wars Episode 1 was, you had this during the pod racer scene. You had a whole bunch of pod racers. This is the guy whose pod didn't work. His power coupling went out. And so his whole pod just exploded, essentially. Who asked this again? We're going to say their names, so that way everyone knows that this came from them.
Everyone knows, yeah.
Yeah. We had Andro, or if you see him on YouTube, the Pope of Pineapples.
Of course it was this guy.
Yes, asked, smash or pass, Ben Quadraneros. Also, should he be in Star Wars?
I'll let you start on this one.
I'm going to say, pass. There are a couple of the pod racers I would say smash to. This is not one of them. Although this is one of my favorite, just like no-name characters, and this is who I mained in Star Wars Racers Revenge as a kid. So, I do love this guy, but not in that way. So, what about you? Smash or pass?
If I was not married, I'll preface it with that. I might say smash. I mean, I'm curious, like his face is so large compared to his body. I just want to know how everything fits underneath there. You know what I mean? That's not.
Does that go all the way down? Is it just his head?
Is that just a chin, or is there where's his belly button?
Is this the Mike Wazowski of Star Wars?
That's my question. So just out of pure curiosity, I'll say smash. How about that?
Okay. Fair enough. As to whether I'd want him in Swago, I don't know. If they end up adding the vehicle game mode they've been teasing back and
100%.
forth for years, I want all the pod racers. I want them as Sebulba. All in there. Yeah, I want to see Sebulba. I want to see like the whole an animation of Sebulba throwing the wrench into someone else's thing, like engines and stuff like that. Yes, absolutely. Do I think that we should get pod racers in general? I don't know. I think the episode 1, the only thing I was really missing out of the episode 1 content was I was sad we didn't get Panaka for the Quadme team. That was about it.
I will second that and say Naboo Starfighter. I wanted a Naboo Starfighter for Galactic Republic fleet.
Yeah, which it sounded like Meathead really was down for that, but the developers were just like, eh.
If you also look at where the fleet meta is right now, Galactic Republic would be probably too strong with another good ship.
Yeah. They tried to lock Marauder into Endurance and it really didn't work. So
well, and now Endurance uses
Endurance
to counter Executor.
Yeah, now Endurance beats Executor and Leviathan. It's wild.
What a world.
Yeah, what a world we live in. Okay, next up we have MV coming in with what does GL Rabid Beaver's ultimate ability do? To be fair, we do have a section in our Discord for Beaver Dam kits, and Yoder makes kits for different people who are common in the Beaver Dam. And so we actually have a GL Beaver and I believe a Baked Beaver somewhere in there as well, for when I'm doing Damathons. But I feel like it'd have to be something like summoning content creators, because I feel like I just do collabs so often. Either that or light everything on fire with hot sauce, one of the two.
That was what I was gonna say. Just you douse the arena in hot sauce. You blind everybody, inflict burning for 99 turns.
Yeah. Locked on burning. Just, oh gosh. Yeah, it's now becoming a common thing that I have so many people on the channel. I don't make my own content. I just use these guys, you know. Matt
Hey,
here, he's the one I'm stealing content from today, you know. This last one,
can I plead the fifth on this one?
no, you can't. I'm gonna give my best guess. And I did do my taxes for last year recently, and so I know how much I spent last year. How much do you estimate you've spent on Swago? This is from AR.
I think mine's less than yours, for sure.
Oh yeah, I think mine is a ridiculous amount that very few people would beat.
I don't think I've hit $2,000 yet. I think I've gone over one, and I claimed over one on my taxes last year. But I didn't claim much more than that. And before that, before last year, I had not spent much at all. So I think I'm just right around that $1,000, just over.
So I've probably spent about $1,000 up until I became a content creator. So that's about 3.5 years, I spent probably about $1,000. Just in various ways, you know, spend $20 here, $20 there. I get a $20 gift card, I throw it in the Galaxy of Heroes. Probably spent about $1,000. Like for the first like 8 months, 9 months, I think I was free to play, and then after that, I just spent $20 a month, and I'd boost up a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
When I got Executor, I spent $100. It was the most I'd ever spent in GAC or in Galaxy Heroes, and I was kind of like really uncomfortable doing it. And then I became a content creator, and I set a goal for Gungans, and I was like, if we hit the amount that I would need to buy Gungans day one, then I will go for Gungans. We hit that goal, so I went for Gungans, and that since then, because I started doing that stuff in January of last year, up until the end of last year, I spent $6,000. So at this point, I'm going to shoot for $9,000 total at the moment.
You made me think about it, and I think that because I did a similar thing where actually I think I was doing like $20 here, $20 there when I was just starting off, and I was like in high school at the time. And so I think, yeah, I'm probably over two at this point. Because I really only know what I only calculated what I spent last year when I was able to write some of it off. And so I think before that I'm probably at two. So
yeah, I also do want to preface, I guess, postface, because I am saying it after. So, well, however you say that, posthumously, that's after they die, I think. Posthumously, I don't know.
We're not English majors.
As an epilogue to what I've said.
There you go.
I did include in that number the gifted Lightspeed bundles, and so probably a solid 1,500 to 2,000 of that is gifted Lightspeed bundles to you guys in the community, maybe a little bit more.
And also, I think this goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyways. Do not spend money you don't have or money you're not comfortable spending on this game.
Mm-hmm.
A Lightspeed bundle can come and go, and that's totally fine. You don't have to get every single one. You don't have to spend to catch up. Like, don't let the FOMO of this game lead you into bad financial habits. Take care of yourself. Take care of your own finances. Be smart. Like, I feel like we just have to say that when we're talking about how much we've spent, because we are in very unique situations where we have been given the opportunity to spend money, and we've made money from content for the game where we are able to spend money on the game.
Yeah, so here's a little tidbit to give you an idea. This is from Darth Loquitur. Each week, the game gives you gear and in-game currency worth 28,000 crystals. On a macro scale, you get $200 into the game. It's only going to get you 1 week ahead. If you try to catch up by spending on gear, you will get shockingly little progress and quit the game angry. Spend wisely on the things you really want. Lightspeed bundles are like one of the few things I'd actually spend for. If you are a whale, the new characters make sense, but like most packs, most gear, you are not getting things that are worth it. Don't do it. Just because I do it because you guys convince me to make dumb decisions does not mean that you should do it. And especially if you're going into debt for any reason, don't do that at all.
Yeah.
It's not bueno. So
100%. All right. We have one last thing. We like to leave you guys with a question to engage in the comments with. And so...
Map Master, smash or pass?
Oh.
No, I'm kidding.
You're going to have a lot of smashes in the comments.
No, what's the question of the week?
The question of the week is, if you were in charge at CG, what would you do to make the pirate era more engaging? I will ask you first, Beaver.
There, just one thing. Okay, two things. Melch. We talked about it last time. Melch. Other thing, legendary Hondo. They've already said that they aren't doing a legendary Hondo. That's all we want out of this. Like, sure, we can get Jod from Skeleton Crew. We could get some random pirates here or there, or people that are pirate-esque. I don't care. I want my legendary Hondo. The Hondo in game we have is based off of the Disneyland version. Like, give us a Clone Wars legendary Hondo.
I'd be so down. I wouldn't care if we got another version of Hondo.
Yeah.
He's worth it. There's one character I really want to see, and I don't even want to really say it because I know CG's just not going to do it because they don't like Legends content.
You've heard my theories, right?
What is your theory?
They watch my channel, dude.
Oh, so CG, since you're here, since you've made it to the end of this video, Cade Skywalker is the coolest pirate in Legends, and he's only a pirate for a pretty short period of his life, but he has a cool crew, and he has some really unique force abilities. It would just be such a cool, please CG, can you make it happen? I really, guys, go look up a video. I think Star Wars Minute Explained or something has a video on Cade Skywalker. You watch that like 2-minute video and you'll be like, man, I want Cade Skywalker in the game now. He kills Darth Krayt, who is like the super extreme.
Whoa,
anyways,
spoilers.
Cade Skywalker, please. That's where I'll end this.
That's fair. Yeah, I think that there's a lot. Like, I mean, I would love a Scoundrel Mara Jade or a Light Side Jedi Mara Jade. Like, you know, there's so much. I like Talon Card into the Scoundrel faction. There's so many cool things in Extended Universe I'd love to see him bring in.
We're gonna get a bunch of Skeleton Crew stuff, and then we're gonna get Sidon Athano from Force Awakens, and we're gonna get like Maz Kanata or something.
We're definitely getting that one chick from Bad Batch everyone hates.
The Martinez sisters?
No. I mean, they're from Clone Wars, I would say originally, and I don't like them either.
Bad Batch,
but no, the one that she's like, oh, I've got this treasure, and I'm going to show you, and like Omega looks up to her the entire time. Isn't Sid the alien that gives them missions?
Yeah.
No, it's not her. Hold on, I'll look this up. I'll throw it on screen. Hold on. We'll have Ben Quadranero stop staring into your soul.
Ben Quadranero's been up this whole time.
Yeah.
Can we just have him up on every DFD? Just have him sitting there in the corner.
Wanda Sykes.
Oh, that girl.
This girl.
Yeah.
No, hold on. Ben Quadraneros is still in front of it. There we go. This girl. Yeah. Like this is probably gonna be what we're gonna get. But we want Cade Skywalker and our legendary Hondo. But throw in the comment section what you want out of this faction. How would you make this next era great again? Make it the damn best it could be. Maybe it's adding Melch, maybe it's adding something Extended Universe. Tell us in the comment section what you think. I'd be very curious to see.
I'm very curious.
Yeah. But thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope it has been a damn good time, and we will see you in 2 weeks. I know you'll be counting down the minutes, but thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for giving a damn.